And let's bring in Todd Lewis now. And Todd, I know you spoke to Brooks's agent. What do you have to say?
Well, we can't confirm the story is accurate, but it is now a question is what are the PGA Tour going to do? I mean, Brooks Koepka, if you go back to a couple of years ago when there was this exodus of star players from the PGA Tour that decided to go to live golf. Brooks Koepka was pretty quiet. Didn't really say much. Didn't really badmouth the PGA Tour. Just went about his business, made his professional decision, and decided to go that route. And he stayed that way throughout his career at LIV, which now he has walked away from. He was not a part of that initial lawsuit that was presented by several LIV players suing the PGA Tour, hoping to be a part of the FedEx Cup playoffs and possibly play on the PGA Tour as well. So the PGA Tour, I'm sure, will consider that in their reinstatement evaluation. But this is going to be a monumental decision because this is a star wanting to return back to the PGA Tour from which he walked away from. But it's going to be now up to the tour, the board, and just deciding whether or not indeed Brooks Koepka is eligible because he did resign his membership or did not renew his membership, and whether or not he is worthy of once again competing on the PGA Tour.
Todd, is there a faction that you know of that says, not on my watch, no way? I mean, this guy damaged. I know he wasn't as vocal, as intense as, say, Phil Mickelson or Bryson DeChambeau, who backed off then, but
right.
He damaged the brand of the PGA Tour. He took the money. He left. See you later. Not on my watch, you're coming back. Is there a faction that still feels that way?
Rich, there are a lot of numbers to this equation that I'm about to present to you, but Brooks Koepka was a part of the group that decided to walk away from PGA Tour and walk to live golf, which forced the PGA Tour to reshape its entire schedule, how it pays out money, FedEx Cup points, everything. And because of that, it put them in a bit of a financial, I wouldn't say crisis, but definitely something that they had to, it was a challenge, I'll say. And because of that, there's a big reason why that the PGA Tour is not in Maui this week because it costs them money. So, yeah, they have to consider that for sure. I will say this, in regards to players on the PGA Tour, there are a lot of prominent players that still have very healthy relationships with Brooks Koepka. The fact that he was a part of the Ryder Cup team back in Rome. He like I said, did not disparage anyone on the PGA Tour and the PGA Tour in general. And so he is still very well respected and well liked by a lot of the members of the PGA Tour.
But Todd, you can make the case it shouldn't be about whether you're well liked or not. It's
fair.
It's a precedent here.
Correct.
And so, the next guy could raise his hand and say, I want back in, and maybe he's not well liked. You say, no, we're not letting you in. I mean, to me, and I think Brandel pointed this out on social media, and we'll chat with Brandel on Sunday, it's about the precedent that you set.
There's no doubt. This is going to be a very, very big decision by the PGA Tour in what they're about to decide in regards to Brooks Koepka. Can he come back this year? And if that happens, I can promise you there will probably be some waves on the PGA Tour from the players, regardless if he's liked by elite players or not. A lot of those players have very long memories of the fact that not necessarily Brooks, but many of the players decided to fracture the sport for whatever reason they wanted to do it. And it's caused all of this disarray in regards to the PGA Tour. And he's going to come back after taking a lot of money and take a spot, possibly, on the PGA Tour that some say that deserves to go to others. So this is a very big moment for the PGA Tour. They got a lot on their plate. Now they've got something added extra in regards to, despite trying to put together a PGA Tour schedule for possibly in 2027 that's going to look vastly different. Now it's a matter of who's going to be playing on that schedule that could possibly be coming from LIV in Brooks Koepka.
Things have been tamped down a bit in the last year or so, but this is still a battle ongoing between LIV Golf and the PGA Tour. there is a case to be made that if they are able to bring Brooks back into the fold and then Bryson, that would be game, set, and match. Might be over for Live Golf. I don't know. I mean, they have the deepest pockets imaginable. So I guess the question is, what do you know about Bryson DeChambeau? And how closely do you think he's monitoring this situation?
Oh, I think he's very much monitoring the entire Brooks Koepka situation and what the PGA Tour is going to do. His case may be a bit different because he was part of that initial lawsuit that sued the PGA Tour, part of that group of players to try to be a part of the FedEx Cup playoffs and play on the PGA Tour, which I said earlier, Brooks Koepka was not. But I can tell you, Bryson DeChambeau is going to obviously do what's best for him. He is in a different category financially. It seems he's not married. He's single. Doesn't have a family. So he's very happy being the entertainer that he is on YouTube. Actually told me not too long ago, if things aren't working well for me on Live, I could live in the space of being a YouTube entertainer and play the major championships. Again, that was a few months ago, so I'm not sure if that has changed, but I can promise you he is very much aware of what's going on with Brooks Koepka, possible reinstatement of the PGA Tour, at least applying to play on the PGA Tour once again. And we will see after that decision from the tour what he does next, because his contract is up at the end of this year on Live.
Nothing solid yet, Todd. Obviously, it's a bit speculative, but you think we'll see Brooks Koepka playing PGA Tour events in 2026?
Gosh, that is such a good question, Rich. I am not sure. Let's look at the topography of what Brooks Koepka would bring to the PGA Tour if he came back. A multiple major champion, still very popular as a player, regardless of where he plays. But obviously, he comes here. If he would come back, he would come back with some baggage. Will the public, if he is reinstated, will the public embrace him? Will his peers embrace him? Will he feel comfortable in that environment? This is a big if too. Will he feel comfortable in that environment after walking away from the PGA Tour? And will that affect his performance if he comes back? So there are a lot of questions here. It'll be quite an interesting, if you're in boardrooms in Ponte Vedra Beach trying to decide what to do with Brooks Koepka, you're going to have a lot of important decisions to weigh.